And then we've all started to walk in a group, right? And then we have become, now as I said, we might have differences, but we have started working along with the differences, and it's working well for us. So that's how we are working in a groove now. We have close knit, cohesiveness has become. uh, Earlier we were all dissipated, now we have all become cohesive. Then we go to performing stage. When we have set norms and we are following those norms, we go to the highest level of performance during this entire phase, that is performing stage. We are confident, we are motivated. So now Shubhi is sure that she is going to do it, and everybody else in the team. You don't even need a supervision at this stage because we fill up for each other. We know each other so well. I know that okay, this portion I wouldn't be able to do because I'm very well aware that Bharani would do it because we know each other's strength. We are There are unsaid rules. They have already set in the norming stage. So here everybody is on the same page. We are working on full swing, and then we reach to the end of it, which is adjourning stage, where we completed all the tasks. So if you try to relate it to your MBA X program, also you will find all these stages. Okay, right now you all are in performing stage, helping each other, being there for each other, and then when you get convocated, that would be your adjourning stage. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video. Just give me a moment. Norming. Yes, Shimanti, why not? So norming me, Shimanti, because initially we were all storming, clashes was happening. Now we start understanding each other. I start understanding that Shimanti and me, we might be very different individuals, but we start appreciating each other's strength. I see that, oh, Shimanti is very good. Okay, in analytics, in this part, Shimanti is very good. And in the team, I might not be that great in that. I might be good in something else. So we understand each other's strength, and we try to, rather than seeing the differences between us, Shimanti, we try to see strength and how this strength will help us to do perform better. So here we set norms. Ki, acha, Nahi, that's what I'm saying. Shimyanti, here we set norms that this portion would be done by you. Okay? These are the rules. If you are not good at it, we are not forcing each other. Okay? So we set norms. This would be done by you. This would be done by me. And just because we have set this norm, that's the reason, Shimyanti, in the next stage, our performance is at peak. It is at that peak because now rules we have set. Okay, unwritten rules are there. Shimanti will do this. I will do that. Shimanti will handle the client. We don't have to tell each other now this thing. We have set the norms here. Shimanti's portion is this. Agya's portion is that. Pooja's portion is that. Yeah. So we understand each other well. And because now we are all in sync with each other, we are on the top of our performance, on top of our game. Okay? Are we good here? So yeah, let me show you a video. Give me a moment. I'll show you a video of not this one. Just me. I'll show you a video of group formation of Lord of Rings. Okay, this is what it is. This is a link. Everyone, please go watch and come back and let me know whether you have watched it. Okay? Please. So we done? Very good. Very nice. Okay, so these are the example of team. This is the example of team where, as I said, if Sachin had to just think about scoring a ton, then he is just concentrating on himself. It's not that. In team, it's more important. And what is important? The organizational goal. Then my team's goal and then my own goal. That's how it is. It is what when people are able to accomplish things like this, it is because they are working as a close-knit team, not working against each other. We have to work together. There's to be one unified goal. Everybody has to see that. Everybody has to listen to the same sheet of music, and then only you can reach to that level. Another example of team would be yes, we watched that. Okay, we have seen this movie. All these girls, they were all dissipated as a group. Everybody in the initial, the first starting was when you were talking only about your country. It doesn't matter which team you are. What matters is organization. The first and the foremost fulfillment should be organizational goal. Your team's goal, your department's goal should be in sync with the organizational goal. And then whatever is left, then you can think about yourself. This is what, because they started playing in sync with each other, not against each other. That's another example. Okay, can I have from you guys what all team building exercises you do with your employees? Please, can I have that? Bilkul, Gaurav, absolutely. That's also team building. Yes, Money Heist, that's a perfect example of how the entire weekly happy hours. Nisha, can you tell me what are you doing in that one? Introduction of each other. Anybody would like to come online, please? Voice right leke ya video rights bhi chahiye, so we can give. Anyone? Come on. 3 qualities of team members. That's a very good way of ice breaking. That's a good activity. So Nisha does happy hours. Aditi, quarterly outings. Okay. Where do you take your team to, Aditi? Guys, what about you? Monthly lunch. That's interesting. Rapid fire questions. That's interesting. Pubs, etc. Okay. A Zoom meeting nowadays, yes, Nisha, where we just chat about unofficial stuff. That's interesting. I think, and especially during this time when you're not able to connect with people offline or face to face, yeah. Joke session, interesting. Should we Undrilla potluck? Yeah, yeah. Undrilla, we all have to talk about food once, है Bharini is saying the knowledge sharing session every Friday with someone and potluck. That's interesting. Picnics before COVID, yes, Pranshu, those were the days. Pictionary. Oh, Nisha, have you seen that episode of Friends of Pictionary? We do this within students. Okay, that's interesting, should we? Anybody else? So Gaurav says we have a okay. We have a water cooler session by from 5 to 5:30 daily. Whoever is free, join Zoom and we can chat a lot. For outsider also, Gaurav, we can also join. Should be KBC. Okay. Kunal, go for hikes. I was just jesting. What is shootout, Prasad? What is a shootout? I want to understand about it. What do you mean by shootout? It seems very interesting. A photo shoot. Treasure hunt, yeah, that's it. Paintball, yes, Ayush. Have you started doing paintball again after COVID? Paintball is really fun. No, nah? Okay, relay race. Okay. Box cricket. What about you guys? Binita, Chirudeep, Debashish, Deepak, George, Guhan, Kajal, Kaushik, Lata. Go karting or bowling. That's interesting. Fun Fridays and some activities. Bowling. Oh, Ayush. Lunch outs. Shimanti. Yes. Lunch ka time bhi hone wala hai. Kunal, rafting in Rishikesh. Very interesting. Oh, that's White River rafting. I feel is very scary. My openness to experience is very less when it comes to adventures to sports. Pool party, team outings, Debashish, team lunch on weekends. Okay. Fun Fridays lunch. Guan saying monthly team meetings for some fun activities arranged by the team. That's interesting. So everybody is doing something or the other. Then now videos making. That's interesting, Shubhi. That's what a lot of activity with the students. I can see that a lot of you are doing all of these activities, lunch discussions, interactive. Yeah, George, fun activities on Fridays. So kya kiya last Friday? Interactive seminars, collaborative spaces, book discussions, ice-breaking sessions, group mentoring. These all are things which you can resort to. Narration by X, presentation by Y. That's interesting. Book discussion, very good. So in a team, you can tell that Gohan, this time you're going to read this book and we're going to discuss about it. Likewise, you can do. So knowledge sharing really will help you. So it's very important to bond people. I'm sorry. Important to bond with people outside work. It is very important. Uh, Sing a Bollywood song in English. Can we have that, George? Fourth session, may maybe you, which you have already done. Live debate. Oh, very good, guys. This is interesting. This is actually bonding of, we are working on a project and then we are doing only work related thing. But when we kind of connect with something, yes, George, please. Maybe George, if we get 5 minutes today, Delhi versus Mumbai. How many of you are from Delhi? And how many of you from Mumbai? Oh, that's very Delhi, Nisha. Should be Mumbai, Ayush Delhi. Mumbai, Gaurav, Mumbai. Mumbai. I think Mumbai strength is more Prasad, Pranshu, Deepak. Come on, Delhi guys. Near to Delhi, Bombay. George, कौन सा गाना गाने वाले? NM is Mumbai, yes. हाँ गौरव. We can also say NMIMS का NM stands for Navi Mumbai. Very poor joke. So when we are meeting people only on the work front, so the connection is related to that. But okay, let us just take our example. Here we are meeting, right? This is a very formal one. We are discussing in the class and everything. But what happens, Shimandi, when we are meeting outside the classroom, there's going to be a different bondage between us. Do you agree? हाँ होगा ना different bondage. Yeah, that's how it is. With the same thing with the team, when you're within the workplace space, it's going to be very different. However cool and however nice and congenial relations we are, yeah, absolutely. But then when it happens like this, we bond more, go for marathons. Is there anyone? Marathons and all, go for office parties. Don't think I'm at work. Okay, guys, remember everything. Very good, Shimali. Don't think that I'm interacting with people at work, I'm present, so I won't go for office party. No, it is very important to make bonds and connections. It is important. Very good marathons and all. Yeah. Toastmasters Club, you're a part, Ayush? Okay. Whenever possible, like Google, they made interaction. That's interesting. Group trekking. बिल्कुल ऐसी चीजें this class is doing which just मैं opposite हो. So yeah, office parties, be a part of it. It's important. Go for the corporate offsite. ऐसे मत सोचो कि कौन जाएगा. My Sunday will go wasted. No, it's important. Yeah, but Nisha, go. It's important. Go for a little bit of time. But it will help you to make that bonding with people. See what happens, Nisha. If you meet, so for example, there is say Kajal. Okay, Kajal is in operations, and you are in say finance. And maybe when you meet Kajal in an offsite, an office party, you bond differently. Now later on, when you have something which is related to operations, when you want some help, you have a go-to person. You have Kajal there, right? You can always connect. It will become easier for you. So always go for these things. These are important. If you cannot stay for long, but do go and stay there for a bit and come back. The offline bondage of work, yeah, social networking, yes, it's important to meet people, yeah, engage with nature, go for plantation drive. These activities which you can do with your team to bond the team. Now we'll talk about the different. Yeah, go for those drives. We're going to talk about what are the different kind of team. So functional, cross-functional, self-managed, supervised, virtual, problem solving. Have we done this? Kya? I get so confused. No, now we haven't done this. No, take it. So functional is that when the core area is same. Okay, core area is same. So HR department, there would be an individual Who is going to be? Yeah, Aditi, who's going to be HR executive, assistant manager HR, GM HR, AVP HR, VP HR, or CHR, or whatever. So everybody is from the same domain. The hierarchical positions are different. Are we good here? IT system administrator, IT engineer, whatever designation, developers, testers. Domain is same, IT, but divisions, levels would be different. Hierarchy positions would be different. Now talking about cross-functional team. So in cross-functional team, what happens? Your levels remain the same, okay, but your departments are different. So for example, there's a new product launch, right, Shashank? New product launch. So for that, what happens? There is head, so all these heads meet. So there might be IT head, HR head, ops head, marketing head, sales head before the launch of the product. There's a committee which is formed. This is known as a cross-functional team, where you are representing various functions, but your hierarchical position is same. Okay, in org chart, you are always on the same ranks. That's your cross-functional. Self-managed work team. So guys, tell me something. People who are like general managers and VPs and all, do they require day-to-day intervention? Gaurav, George, Guhan? No, Shimanti, not at all. Yeah, absolutely not. They can, of course, they don't require daily operational activity to be interacted on it. They don't require any hand holding on a day-to-day basis. This is known as self-managed team because they're capable enough to do something. But let's talk about Salesforce, a feet on street kind of individual where they're doing sales and all. For them, the sales manager has to intervene every day. He needs to handhold them. He needs to mentor them. He needs to take an account of what they've been doing. Right, Shumati? Yeah. So this is what it is, right? This is a, what do you say? A supervised team where a close supervision is required because that team still is not, still can't work by all by themselves. So they require a direct supervision. So that is a supervised team. Going to next is virtual team. This is what we are right now, every one of you in different cities, right? Maybe some of you might be in different country because that's how the in classes it happens. Some of you different cities, different paths, but still we are together. This is virtual team, and how we are connected? We are connected through Zoom. We're connected through video conferencing. So when people are in different physical locations, they might not be together, but yes, they are connected through teleconferencing or video conferencing. That is known as a virtual team. And I think our class right now is a perfect example of virtual team. And then comes your problem solving team. So when we talk about problem solving team, what happens? There might be, so for example, quality control. So there might be a team of few people who would be selected, and every fortnight or every month they would be meeting to troubleshoot all the problems which are there. Okay, work related problems. So that is the problem solving team. Okay. Now, let us learn some lessons of teamwork from Apple. But do you remember? We have talked about positive groupthink and negative groupthink. Have I shown you that elevator experiment? I forget everything. Elevator experiment, have I shown that people are doing exactly how that individual does? Video dikhaya tha? Shimanti doesn't remember. Anybody else? Pranshu, sure? That in elevator, if there's an individual, he's turning to other side, how people are also doing. Chalo, let me, no problem. Iska matlab I haven't shown. Okay, 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 I'll show. Wait. Okay. I think it is here. Yeah. Sorry, sorry. Hmm. Okay. Go and watch the link and come back and just ping me that we are done. Santosh, done, everyone. Yeah, that's what happens, huh, Santosh? That's a group thing. We get how others are doing and we get influenced by that. Yeah, done. So yeah, that's what group think or what we say, bhed chal, herd mentality. That's what happens with us. We don't want to get into conflict and how others are doing. We also accustom ourselves like that. Hannah, Kajal, Aditi. And let us talk about, sorry, not case let, it's just a case let. Actually, yeah. So it's a case let of teamwork from Apple. So we're going to learn some lessons of teamwork from Apple as a company. Apple, there was a time when every one of us had Nokia 3315, 3310, right? Every one of us had Nokia. Now, change the millennia, there was a time like 2005, 10s and all. 10 Aya and then Apple, they've just been in the business from past 13, 14 years. Yeah, snake and ladder, snake and ladder, just a snake one, Kajal. And then you have to make the snake go bigger, bigger, bigger. That one was there. Yeah, yeah. Yes. And then there was 1100, which had a torch. That was a revolutionary phone in itself. And there was another phone which would ring and there would be lights coming out of it. So yeah, Nokia was there, but Nokia couldn't fathom that such changes will happen. And that's a classic example of failure of change management. Let us see that why. Yeah, Kunal. Mine was 3315, a gray color, silver color rather. So let us see how Apple has come this far. What are the lessons of teamwork which we can learn from Apple as a company? First lesson, one person in charge. When you are working in a team, as I said, everybody is an equivalent. Okay, there should be an egalitarian culture in team. But having said that, it's important that one person is made in charge. So if Santosh has to do it, say if the entire team is doing it and we don't make anyone in charge, it may happen people will start passing the buck, right? Have you heard about the phrase which says that too many cooks spoil the broth? Right? That's what happens. If everybody is involved, you will see there will be lots of problems ahead. So what is important? You have to make sure that yes, people should be accountable for doing that work. So make sure that you are making one person in charge. So if Santosh is in charge, I don't have to. Then you cannot say कि Kajal ने बोला था, Kajal will say Aditi, Aditi will say Shimanti, Shimanti will say Kunal. No, you're gonna go that way. Santosh is the one, he is going to report that, right? That individual who is made the in charge, that individual thinks it is my baby. I need to take care of it. Okay, I wouldn't falter from my thing. So yeah, make one person in charge so that you can get the true accountability. Going to next is meet once a week. Do you agree to this bit that when things are not going in the right manner, we have these meetings, follow-ups meetings, very random. But when things are cool, calm, and things are going very well, the number of meetings become less. It's not right. Make sure that you're meeting at least once a week. Otherwise, see what happens. Even things are going in a hunky dory manner, everything is good, but things may start to falter. It may start to fall apart. So, in order to have a proper document, proper acknowledgement of each other's work, how far you have gone. Okay, it's important that you meet each other every week, even if it is for 15 minutes. That is okay, but it's, at least you are updating each other. At least George tells Guhan that, this much I have done, I was facing problems. And also, when you face problems, you can give solutions to others. So maybe when George and Guhan are discussing, they get to know that how Gaurav had sorted out this problem. So you get ideas from there. Okay. So it's important to meet once a week, even for a short duration time. That ways you keep each other updated about your projects, and if there's anything where you're lacking, you can take corrective measures also right from the beginning. Third lesson is teamwork starts from the top. If you think, array, people on the lower level or in the entry level position, they are the ones who are going to drive it. You're mistaken. We all learn by examples, learn looking at others. So if you're top management team is constantly in loggerheads, what are we going to learn? We're going to learn that it's okay. People don't respect each other in teams. That's okay. People will follow what you're doing at the top. So you have to show that kind of congeniality, that kind of cohesiveness within your top management team so that others can follow you. You should not set wrong examples. Okay, because if you aren't doing correct, the team below would never do correct. So yeah, it should start from the top. Trust is key. I think I've been harping on this right when we were discussing about team. It is important. You have to trust people. If you don't trust your team member, your team is not going to flourish. If you hold back of everything what you want to express with your team member, absolutely problematic. If you see that, say, think that whatever I say may be held against me, there is a huge trust crisis. And that's what we don't want in teams. Trust is very important. Have wonderful arguments. It's important. It doesn't mean that if you see, argument does not mean that you are disrespecting. If we all start saying yes, na, हाँ ठीक है, काजल ने बोला तो कौशिक ने भी yes बोला, लता ने भी yes बोला, Sudhir ने भी yes बोला. What happens in such case? When we start saying yes, you will never have innovation. Do you think Apple would have come to this level if people would have kept on saying yes? Or we would have been in a virtual classroom like this if people would have adhered to the normal? No, you have to think disruptively. You guys are the biggest example. I've been saying from yesterday, I think, that you are here learning something new, learning something which has never existed few years back. That's a perfect example of because you thought differently. So it's important if you really want to make your work better, if you really want to come up with different solutions, have different arguments, have arguments. It's important. Argument does not mean that I'm disrespecting. If Rohit does not agree with me, it doesn't mean that he's disrespecting me. It's just that he has different viewpoint. That's important. Let people make decisions. Okay, yes, very important. As you grow up more in the career ladder, empower people. Don't keep all the powers concentrated to your hands. Don't keep that this is what it is. I want to know it all. Please let people. So good. When we talk about leadership, I'll say that only. A good trait of a leader is to create more leaders under him. That's important. So yeah, talented people will never like to work in a place which is very autocratic, where you want to take every decision. Let give that kind of exploration to people. Yeah, delegate, yes, important. So Aditi, yes, the challenge would be that how much you want to delegate your team, right? But looking at the individual, looking at his potential, you can always delegate. Let them make decision. If they make mistake, they learn from it. They'll gain experience. If they don't, very good. You have an empowered individual. So it's going to be a win-win from both the part. And the last lesson which we learn is work to one goal. Do not have multiple conflicting goals. You will never be able to have that kind of organizational productivity and effectiveness if everybody is working in different directions. All the team members, all the different teams, they all have to work cohesively and work towards a one goal, unified goals. Okay, multiple goals, and again, if they are going in different directions, it's going to be really problematic. So work towards one goal. These are the 7 lessons we will learn from Apple. Keep calm and join Apple. Yes, yes. So what we'll do, understanding conflict. Now we'll come to conflict. Okay. So when I say something and people don't agree to that, when we have opposing needs, opposing wishes, Shimanti, maybe Shimanti, which team do you support in IPL? Aditi, which team do you support? Shashank, tell me, guys. I just wanted to know. CSK, Knight Riders, Shimanti. Actually, I wanted to say Knight Riders, but I thought maybe I'm stereotyping. Okay. So when Aditi is there supporting Delhi, okay, Santosh is supporting Chennai Super Kings, Shimanti is supporting Kolkata Knight Riders, and I'm supporting Mumbai Indians. When we all are sitting in a room and discussing about all these things, we have our opposing needs, all of us wanting our teams to do better. Incompatible. India, Pakistan, why we are in conflict? Because yes, they want a bigger chunk for them. We won't let it go. Okay. In cricket also, they want their team to win. We want ours. So we have incompatible or opposing needs and wishes, which we don't. Yeah. Yeah, RCB. Yeah. So that's what. This is when the conflict will start. People not being on the same page, having difference in opinion, difference in perception. And do you agree to this bit when I say conflicts is inevitable? It's going to stay in the organization, however amazing organization is. Do we agree? Conflict to rahega. Do we agree? Conflict is going to stay. Okay, when you have discussion, see now I want to tell you this. Do not see conflict as a negative connotation. Conflict, politics, this is always seen in negative connotation. But conflict can be good. Conflict can be functional. Conflict can be positive. So when people do for the upliftment of others, and when there's a conflict which will bring out new solutions, Agya and Funny having a discussion, bringing in new solutions, that is a functional conflict. When there's a healthy competition, there's a functional conflict. When there's innovation, there's a functional conflict. When they're creative, exactly, George, when they are creative, out of the box kind of ideas flowing in, that's a healthy conflict. Yeah. So yeah, that's a functional conflict. Let us talk about from where now we are talking about the dysfunctional conflict. So we're going to talk about three sources of conflict today, from where the conflict can arise: communication, personal value variables, and change. Let us see here. You know, I think it's right from the time. I think I feel it's the most important aspect for everyone. Communication, right? When I say communication, it does not mean English or any language. It means me and Sudhir or me and Praveen are on the same page. Communication is that what I'm trying to tell, it's exactly replicated in your brain how it is in mine. When we both are on the same page, that is communication. Most of the time, guys, most of the time you will see conflict will happen because there's a lack of communication or poor communication. Very simple example, let me give you. When your boss asks you to do certain work, and he tells you that you have to do it on by Saturday evening, and if you're not able to complete it Saturday evening, if you tell him beforehand that I have lots of assignment to finish, so I don't think so Saturday evening it will be possible. Can I do it by Monday? Is it better on not doing it and then coming on Monday saying that I wasn't able to do it? Which approach is better? Where do you think the conflict would be less? Come on, guys. First one is better? Absolutely. When you communicate, exactly, Praveen, funny, when you communicate and tell people right in the beginning, are you guys married? Heads up in advance. I'll give another example. Are you guys married? Some of you? No? Oh, young batch. If you are married, okay, let's take funny. So funny, if of course you're married and you want to go out with your office colleagues to have dinner, and you forget to tell to your wife that I wouldn't be able to come for dinner. You should carry on and I'm going out. What do you think? Is there going to be conflict? Lots. But if you tell your wife right in advance that today so and so plan has been, maybe thoda bahut we all may say that, are what, I've already cooked and all. Maybe she'll say this thing. But do you think the chances of conflict will become very less if you tell right in advance? Timing, yes, Aditi. Telling is key. It's important to communicate with people. Yeah, peaceful. Yeah, exactly. Peaceful. I like it. Okay. So what happens in there? If we see what happens, we don't tell our expectation to people. We don't communicate, and then when things don't fall in place, we don't like it, and when conflict happens, as much as communication is very important, as much as I'm going to, when we'll discuss about leadership, I'll show a video of Indra Nooyi where she's emphasizing on communication. It's very important. So yeah, communicate. Don't assume. Because if you are assuming yourself, Pranshu, what happens? Assumption kiya. So then it's all goes to the drains. It's do not assume anything. Ask people, communicate with people. Okay? Another source can be personal variables. Do you agree to this bit when we talk about personal variables? Why Kaurav and Pandav they had this fight? Because their thought process were different, their personalities were different. Okay, somebody, they were, one was all about materialism and being superior, the other had a different thought process, and hence conflict. Now look at the other picture. Generation gap, value system is different. There was a time when our parents would go for a parent teacher meeting and tell the teachers that, you know what, you hold this, my sons or daughters, they're being very naughty, you please, you have full right over them. But do you think it is exercised anymore? Huh? Aditi, Shimanti, Shubhi, Kaushik, Guhan, George, abhi kya hoga? What will happen now? In 2009, can, as a parent, people are asking questions to the, yeah, exactly, funny other way. Yeah. Plus, Aditi, see what happens earlier times, teacher was just like your, extended family, your parents. Like if your parents have certain rights over you, the teacher would also have. Now things are different. Now the parents are asking questions to the teachers. The teachers are scared. More than the students, the teachers are going to be scared. Why did you talk to us? Yeah, absolutely. The things have drastically changed. Because of that, conflict happens. Then we say, oh, it's generation gap. Because we cannot adhere, we cannot uh, kind of connect ourselves to that. Because of that generation gap, the conflict will happen. That's how we have all, we had it with our parents, our kids will have with us. That's what is your generation gap or the conflict. Personal variables, personalities, value systems being different. Then there's change. Change is always uncomfortable. Always. We all love to be in our own cocoon, in our own shell. But yes, it's important for us to come out of it because change is inevitable. Whatever so happens, yes, cliche, but change is going to be there. It's inevitable. Nobody, it's only permanent. Now, in this movie, why conflict will happen? Because the protagonist wanted to change. She wanted to make sure that yes, washroom should be there. Whereas the elderlies and the villagers and all the family members, they thought that house is a compound, home is a compound where we worship, where we have a place of worship, where we make food. How we can have something as sanitation kind of thing or washrooms in a compound? People did not, because the thought process was different. She wanted to bring a change. They were not agreeing. She had to really resist. There were a lot of resistance to change, which is always going to be there. People not, technology when it came, people were frightened. SBI, all these banks and all. Why? Because computers will take away our jobs. That was the change. Change will happen. I won't be able to perform and my job will be. So when you are insecure about certain things, when you think that change is going to be destructible and devastating, then people resist change. So these are the few sources of conflict. Now, as I said, there can be functional conflict also. Functional and dysfunctional conflict. Just a second. Okay? Let me just check. Do we have somebody? Okay, yeah. We'll talk about it a little later, but yeah, please watch this video. It's a conflict resolution. It's a way of resolving conflict, which we'll be discussing after this. Watch it and please let me know. It's a friend's video. Just see, is it the same? Yeah, we are back. Great. Let us now talk about your functional conflict, the positive ones. Yep, very good. So that can be a way of fun take on resolving the conflict. Now, as I said, we always see conflict in negative, but yes, the conflict which brings in creative ideas, a healthy competition, disruptive way of thinking, that's a functional conflict. Now, how now organizations are trying to bring in functional conflict. They would not directly say, "Ki, Acha, yeah, we are doing this functional conflict," but you will see they would be, you will find the way of doing conflict. It can be two ways. One is your devil's advocacy, another is your dialectic method. So first is your devil's advocacy. What is devil's advocacy? Devil's advocacy is that one individual be made a devil's advocate. And whenever you're presenting any idea, so imagine Nisha is presenting any idea, okay, from the team, and say Aniket is devil's advocate. So whatever idea is Nisha is presenting, Aniket would be critically reviewing those ideas, okay, critically analyzing that, and then giving input to Nisha. Based on this, Nisha would be again forced to think deeply. So what it does, it creates an environment of uh, creative thought process, creative thinking. Let us see that Nisha says that, you know what, we should be launching this product in the month of October, just before Diwali. That's what her viewpoint. Now, Aniket has to critically review this. So Aniket says, Nisha, very good. The product seems good. But if you are launching it just before Diwali, you will see that people are still very much skeptical about the third wave of COVID. Do you think our product would be able to do it well? Now, Nisha is forced to think she will do more research on it. That will this kind of product do well even during COVID? Then she'll say, yes, the product will do good because of so and so reason. Then again, Aniket will analyze it, and Aniket will say that, Nisha, yeah, you have looked into these factors, but have you looked into internal factors? Do we have that kind of competence? So what happens next time also when you go and have these kind of discussion, you will probably think of all the kind of questions which can come up. Are we all getting it? Agya, Aniket, Anish, Ayush, Bharni, Shimanti? Yeah, so that is creating an environment where you're thinking out of the box, where you're going for root cause analysis, a why analysis. That's your devil's advocacy. And every time, if Aniket becomes the, what do you say, the devil's advocate, it might not create a, we might start having a malicious feeling against that individual. So what do? We kind of rotate this role, rotational basis pay. This time Aniket was there, next time Agya, next time uske baad Prasad, and then we will have Funny being the devil's advocate, so that we don't start having ill feelings about others. So this is how it is. Another is dialectic method. Dialectic method is nothing but simple. What? Debate. When two ideas, when you are two teams, when they have something, okay, have a debate. The team which gets more pros, their ideas, when you see all the alternatives, if you find it to be best, you voted for it, and then you can implement that. Now, like for example, in many organizations, what they do, if like for example Asian Paints, if they make two ad of paint, okay, two ad, they'll show it to their internal stakeholders, to all the employees, and they'll ask which one to go for. And then people, along with a logical reasoning or a supportive statement, they'll tell, okay, I've chosen ad one because this is how it portrays. Ad two, and then you analyze, and the one which is more feasible, more viable, that action is taken. Okay, so it's simple as debate, what we used to do in school time. So that is your dialectic method. Now coming to the next bit, which is about dysfunctional conflict. Yeah, functional conflict is good, it should be present, but when conflict, it crosses a certain threshold, then it becomes dysfunctional, then it becomes harmful for the organization. So now we will be discussing that how we are going to deal with this dysfunctional conflict. So we have four ways which we will be discussing in today's class. Plus Johari window, integrating, obliging, dominating, and avoidance. These are the four ways of resolving dysfunctional conflict. Just give me a moment, guys. No. So yeah. So let us talk about the first one, which is integrating. Integrating is the first one where you talk about, it's also known as a win-win approach or a problem-solving approach. So what happens in integrating is that, so for example, me and Nisha, we are in loggerheads. We are both. So Nisha is from ops team, I'm from HR team, and there's a problem going between us. So in integrate, many times, we will find problems because we don't communicate, as I was telling. So, and when we sit face to face, start discussing our problems, we'll see that there was no problem at all. So that's an integrating approach where we both the parties, they come face to face, they sit together, have a conversation, and try to find out a solution which is a win-win situation for both. So a little bit from what Nisha wants for her team, a little bit for what I want for my team. So both the parties, aspects are included in it. It's a collective decision making where it's a win-win situation for both of us, and such a solution is taken which is appropriate where both of us agree and in consensus. So that is your integrating approach. Going to next, again guys, remember this group formation theory, conflict resolution mechanism, and all these things which I'm discussing, these are very important. Okay. Obliging is another part here. When I am neglecting my part, okay, in order to oblige the other party, that's what. So here it is, I lose and you win kind of attitude. You want to satisfy other party. Sometimes people don't want to get into conflict, they don't want to get into arguments, and then it's like they will oblige every time. But you have to remember, if you keep on doing obliging, people will take you for granted. So you yourself have to put a demarcation till how much you want to oblige people, because it should not be that every time people will start doing. One is this aspect. Another can be that when you are obliging someone, then in the near future, there's a chance that that individual, whenever you are in conflicting situation again, that individual will remember, and this time it is his turn to oblige. Okay, so it can be worked in both the manner. See, you will have, whenever there's a conflict, you will have all these solutions to you, right? Agya, Anish, Prasad, all of this, but it is your prudency, it is your judgment to choose which one is benefited and looking at the other party. Sometimes, yes, when the other party is ready to discussion, let's have an integrating approach. Let's sit together, face to face, let's discuss. Sometimes you feel that person is very dominating, very adamant, you don't want to get into fights. Okay, so you probably will oblige. Sometimes you understand that other party's concern is bigger than yours, so you want to satisfy them, you want to give up your concern, that is obliging, so that in near future further conflict can be reduced. Okay. Now going to next is your dominating. So dominating is that I win and you lose. This is the kind of mentality people who follow dominating approach. There they want to win the conflict at any point, at any cost. Mostly the people who are very autocratic, who are very high-headed, they would want to be dominating everything. Sometimes it is important when you don't find any solution, okay, when you are constantly in loggerheads and the solutions aren't working out. At that point of time, you can use a dominating approach, but not every time. Okay. So the people mostly, the ones who have this kind of attitude that I win and you lose, they are the ones who are following this dominating approach, right? And then comes your avoidance. It's not a good approach, although, because sometimes, but at times it becomes important. Because see, avoidance will only solve things superficially. It's only on the tip of the iceberg. But in longer runs, you need to talk, you need to have a discussion. We always say, right? Nobody is talking about the elephant in the room. That's avoidance. You are either avoiding that individual or avoiding that topic of conflict. So sometimes, see, when you're constantly having problems, constantly having conflict, constantly in longer with each other, at times it is important to have that pool of people. अगर आपके best friends में, आपके relations में, even you are having a problem with your colleague or your relationship or with your friends, sometimes it is important to avoid for some time so that you can have your cool off period. Okay, it may be that Supriyo and Kunal, both of them are working in a project and they both are, the Supriyo probably wants to go for, let's say, wants to go and say that ISME analytics may let's use Python and Kunal says, no, we'll go for R, whatever the reason is. Okay, we are going to use this one. And they're constantly showing them each other pros and cons. Because of that, they can't concentrate. Or because see what happens when too much of conflict happens, we're always thinking about how to get back at it, right? How to resolve that. It's constantly running in our mind. So that increases the conflict. Sometimes what they do, Supriya and Kunal, they say, okay, we'll take a cool off time. Let's work on different projects, separately work for some time, and then we'll again come back. Or their boss says, or maybe Lata is their boss, and Lata is saying, you know what, guys, take your time, take 2 days, work on some other project, then we'll again come back. And then this time when you come back, you're coming with a fresh perspective. So yeah, sometimes avoidance is important to have that cool off time. So guys, actually, I was thinking to give a break a little later, but is that okay if we break right now? I think we'll start with Johari window. Yeah, please, huh? So it's third. Can we take yeah, we'll come back at around 55. Is that okay? 11:55. We'll come around. Yeah. Okay. Before that, do you have any questions till now? Any question? Any one of you? Huh? So yeah, let us take a break of yeah, it's 11:40 almost. 11:55 we'll all come back and we'll finish the rest of the portion. Okay? Kunal, which one is there anything which you haven't understood from the acing portion? Yeah, you can let it write it here. I'll explain it to you. Obliging is not there. So actually, Kunal, there's a lot of other things also, right? There's a transactional analysis also. But yes, you it's always good to know. Yeah, your marks wouldn't be deducted if you are using these techniques. Okay? No problem. Guys, can we extend the break till 12, please? Please. Thank you so much.
Pooja ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
Pooja ma'am, can I launch that poll?
Yeah, yeah, please, please, please launch the poll. No problem.
Oh, I will drop this link at chat box.
Yeah, yeah, please do. Chalo, let's come back to the class and let us see about one more way of resolving conflict. We'll be talking about the conflict which happens between two individuals. It is known as interpersonal conflict. And how can we resolve that? We all understand that we can't work on others, right? But we can work on ourselves. We can't control others, how others are feeling, but definitely we can control how ourselves, how we are doing things. So yeah, that's the reason. First and foremost is the most important aspect is to get to know to yourself. You have to be very well aware of yourself, and for that, in order to resolve interpersonal conflict or conflict between two individuals, we would be doing Johari window. Joe and Harry. These are the two names. It's not Johari window. Joseph Ingham and Harry Love. These are the two individuals who have devised, you can say, this particular window where it talks about how we can resolve conflict. So, are we all there? Shall we start, everyone? Huh? This is yeah. This is what we are going to talk about. The four quadrants. Okay, four quadrants are there. So first one, if it is, you can see the white one, known to others and known to self. That is your open quadrant. Okay. Then there is the green one, which is known to others but not known to self. That's a blind. Then there's a hidden one, which is not known to others but known to myself. And then there's an unknown area. Now let me first explain what do we mean by this thing. Open area, the white one. The open area is which is known to you and known to me. Okay, the things which we know about ourselves, like the public history. Nowadays, you can see the things which you know about each other from social media platform like LinkedIn, Facebook, and all. This is you know about me and I know about myself. Okay, this is my open area. So then it is about my behavior, my qualification, something which is known, which is there in the domain. Now, another, if you go back and see the green one, known to others but not known to self. This is blind area. This is my blind spot. Others are observing it about me, but since it is my blind spot, I can't observe it on myself. It is maybe the way I act, feeling of inadequacy. I might feel, some people might feel unworthy, incompetent. So others are able to see that in you. But since you are not observing it yourself on you, it's your blind spot. You are not even aware. You're totally in oblivion about that thing. So that's what is your blind area, known to others, but not known to self. Then comes the other one, which is your hidden area. Hidden is that it is known to me, but not known to others. That means sorry, that means I'm trying to hide. This is my vulnerability. This is my softer aspects. Okay, this is something, my insecurities, which I am aware, but I don't want to portray it in front of people. This is my hidden area. And then comes the last one, which is your black, which is your unknown area, which we aren't aware because we haven't experienced it till now. We, like for example, before COVID-19 hit us, were we aware that we would be able to stay within our four walls, not meet our friends, family, not go for any wedding, not go to school, leave about work from home concept, still very much Western concept, but started becoming prevalent in India. The schooling from home, did we ever think like that, guys? Nisha, Aditi, George, did we think like that? Nah, absolutely not. Why? Because this was an unknown area. Till the time we have not reached to the uncharted waters, we haven't tested it. Only when we reach there, so when you explore more and more, then you'll come to know about it, right? When situations come. So there's always going to be an unknown area for us. Always. Now tell me which window or which quadrant should be increased in order to minimize conflict, because we are studying it in relation to conflict management. Open, very good, Bharini. You have to tell more. Very good, Shibanti. You have to tell people more about yourself, because otherwise, what happens, Nisha? People will start assuming. So yeah, be open about it. Tell more about, reveal about yourself. Yeah, Kunal. First quadrant we have to increase. Which one we should decrease? Which you are all correct. We have to increase our open quadrant so that people assume less about us. They know more about us. Which should be decreased? Bharani, that will always be there. Unknown, yes, we can explore, but yes, that's always going to be there. But which can be decreased easily. Third, two, hidden also. Blind, very good. Hidden and blind, very good. How can you? Hidden would be when you tell more about yourself. Funny, Nisha ने बताया अपने बारे में, when you tell more people about yourself, you can reduce your hidden quadrant so that then I don't assume. I understand your problems and all. Now, how can you reduce your blind quadrant? How can? Very good. Listen from others or take feedback. Yes, Kunal asking. Take feedback. Yeah, feedback is very important. If I don't get the feedback, I will never be able to know about my blind spot. Or everyone is observing but me, because that's my blind spot. I can't see. Like, a horse has straight jackets, he can't see here and there. Likewise. So when I get feedback from people, when I ask people about it, then I get to know, oh, this is my shortcoming. And when everybody is corroborating to this, everybody is agreeing to this, that means I surely need to work on it. That's your blind spot. That's the reducing. Now, if you see, we all have to reduce all the other quadrants, and we have to increase the open area. But tell me something. Should we, shall we become like open book in front of people? हाँ, open area बिल्कुल अपना increase करके. No, absolutely not. Because then what happens, Gohan? People will start taking advantage of us. We'll be very vulnerable to others. So yeah, what happens? Yes, Kunal. Yes, yes. Then what happens? What is important? I have to myself make decision ki if I'm telling this to Guhan, I'll tell this much. Yes, I can tell because Guhan is one individual I can believe, so I can tell about myself to Guhan. But there would be few people I don't want to divulge myself fully, because these people may start taking advantage of my vulnerability, my weak points, okay, my insecurities. That's how it is up to us. Yes, it is important to tell people about you so that they assume less, relationship becomes better, conflict reduces. But in the same hand, it's important for you also to not be like an open book so that people can start taking advantage of you. Yeah, yeah, some things also need to be private, very much superior, very, very much. I'm going to ask you this question. Do we agree to this bit? Did we have, when we were growing up, did we have these kind of subjects? Yeah, mostly all of us. Did any one of you, did you guys have a subject known as leadership? Nisha? Nahi? Bharani Guhan? Do you think if we had a subject like leadership, we would have been different people today? A moral science, yes. But if we had something like leadership, it would have made, George, maybe we would have been different. See, when I say this about what happens is that we have been doing uh, chemistry, hydrogen sulfide, and everything, Banaya, refraction. Yeah, leadership is something very important. Yes, even financial management, Supriya, I like that. Very good. It's important. Why? See, if you go back to your school days and you remember how it used to be. So, do you agree that people who are good at something, they were given more chances? Certainly, yes. But Nisha, if you talk about it, do you agree to it? The people who are maybe, see, Nisha, you, anyone can be the topper. We are not saying that who was the brightest student. But do you agree that brighter students were always given chances? They had done it every time because teachers also don't have to invest so much of time on them. Do we all agree to this bit that mostly all the bright students were given chances? But do you think if that time was invested on the people who were not that bright, who had that kind of less confidence in themselves, they would have become different? We would have contributed more. That's what happens all the time. We always feel our leaders born or made, but let us say that we can create leaders. If those people they were given time, it has always been there, time immemorial given importance to this? Yeah, absolutely, Bharti, because see what happened? They have struggled on everything by themselves. There's a research which says that if you there are street kids, right? Yeah, absolutely, Nisha, absolutely. They're street kids. It's research says that let them be how they are for initial 6, 7 years, the forming stages. Okay, the formation state, and then later when these two kids are given education like how we are giving to our kids, they are much brighter than how it would be, because for our kids what we do, everything we give we give a solution to them. Do you agree? Choti चीज के लिए everything, spoon feeding, solution for everything, giving all the amenities. But yes, George, when these people aren't given anything, they struggle. They find problem solving skill becomes very good. They'll find problem that if there's a problem, they'll find a solution by themselves. They are not parents and all to bring Google and all everything to them. They're doing all by themselves. So that's how leaders, we can create leaders. Okay. Yeah, Jugaad, Nisha, we are the Jugaad nation. Yes, India, when you talk about uncertainty absorption, in one of the Hofstede has done a cultural study, and there is one thing, uncertainty, how comfortable you are in uncertain conditions. India is, we have always been, we are very comfortable. We are very agile, if you say that way. It's very Jugaad. So even when you see, look, yeah, so Kunal, when you see this thing ना वो ये sharpening के लिए आता है ना this thing, your knives and scissors and all, that's a jugaad. Cycle say when they do it, that's a perfect example of jugaad. You've seen that? That's a jugaad, right? How you're doing producing energy and then doing it. That's an engineering marvel. Okay, low cost jugaad it is. Okay. So talking about leadership, yes, leadership. When I say leader, leadership is an act of influencing. It's not, it should not be coercive, it should not be forceful. When people are more than willing to do things for you, that is your leadership. Leaders is just not the captain of the ship, he's the navigator. He has to understand where to take logical break, what is the next plan of action in case if there's a contingency, what to do, how to keep people motivated, even the most grimmest of time, what will happen if the obstacle comes. That's what leader is. Leaders should possess certain skills, like assertive skills, communication skills, motivation skills, and adaptive. Assertive is that when you want to say something to people and people are ready to do that without, and you don't have to come across as arrogant, without coming across as rude and arrogant. When you don't want to take no for an answer, that's being assertive. A leader has to be assertive. If leader is like, easily ready, whatever people try to fill in his ears and he's ready to say that, absolutely. that individual can't be leader. Communication skills, very important. Okay, leaders should have great communication skills. When I say communication skills, again, it's not English. The audience, you have to understand the kind of audience, and then you have to make sure that the kind of the way you are trying to say that it has to be exactly replicated. I'm going to show you a video on this. Give me a time. Then motivation skills. If the leader himself is saying, oh, you know what, we won't be able to do it. If he is pessimistic, he's seeing only the grimmer part. Lata, would you be motivated looking at such leader? If the leader himself is talking negative, we will never be motivated to do further. So leader has to have that. He should pull everyone up. He should show the brighter picture. He should show the larger picture, right? So that he can channelize the troops and adapt it. Leader has to be agile. Okay, without agility, there can't be leader. I'm giving you an example here. Steve Jobs. Now, Steve Jobs is the founder of Apple, and you would be knowing it. I'm sure that he was ousted from his own company, from Apple, because he was very autocratic leader, very forceful. But when he was ousted from his own company, that time um, he found Next. After some time, Next was struggling, so was Apple. So this struggling Next caught the eye of Apple, and Apple got Next and Steve Jobs back to them. And this time, Steve Jobs understood that last time I was ousted from my own company because of my such kind of leadership. And he changed himself. That's adaptive. You have to change as per the scenario. Okay? Exactly. So, Kunal, you have to be adaptive. Going in the five-star fine dine, you know how to eat, and eating by the roadside dhaba. And Supriyo, that's what is adaptive. We can adapt to every place. We can have that pani puri also, or fuchka also, and we can have that sophisticated seven-course meals as well. That's also a way of adapting. So leaders should be able to adapt as per their troops, as per the individuals who are following. I'm going to show you a video on communication. Do you know who Pink is? Are you aware of Pink? The singer Pink? Yes. I'm going to show you Pink ka VMA ka video. It's a very
the gentleman in the
sorry. I'm going to give you sender. Yeah, absolutely. You see this video and you'll love it. Okay? Just come back after the video is over and we'll continue the class. Yeah, done. Very good. And let us talk about your leadership styles. Okay. So we would be discussing all these leadership styles along with examples: autocratic leader, bureaucratic leader, democratic, charismatic, situational, transactional, transformational, and laissez-faire leadership. Let's first talk about autocratic leaders. Autocratic leaders are the one who like to rule the world by the tight-fisted way. This is either it's going to be my way or there's no other way. Hitler, very coercive. He would want everything to go as per what he would say. Whatever he says have to be accepted as an absolute law. So these kind of leaders, though they don't appreciate people's input, right? They think that they have that supremacy. So whatever decisions they make, they are correct to the T. So they don't let their supporters give any suggestions or make decisions for them. Absolutely not. Adolf Hitler, Napoleon Bonaparte, and this guy, Kim Jong Un, North Korea's dictator, Kim Jong Un. So these are the autocratic leaders, right? So if you are interested in understanding about culture, North Korea's culture, see what kind of leadership he has, the kind people are dying. Average human age is in 40s there. If you are in 40s in North Korea, you're considered to be old, malnourished and all. So that's because of the autocratic or very dictator style of leadership. Another is bureaucratic. Bureaucratic means which goes by the system, where the leadership is ruled by policies, rules, regulations. Why Napoleon Bonaparte here? Sorry, not Napoleon, sorry. Why Joseph Stalin? Joseph Stalin who was he? He was USSR's leader who changed the entire egalitarian culture of USSR into bureaucratic. So egalitarian culture means where everybody is treated equally. Everybody has been given equality. That kind of culture is egalitarian. But what Stalin did, he made it a hierarchical culture, bureaucratic, where you cannot skip hierarchy. You have to follow the procedures, process, regulations, rules. It is dictated. So here for everything, there's a policy. Like for example, in government organization, there's policy for everything. You cannot have that flexibility. You have to go as per the policy. If an individual who's working in a government organization, so I say, especially like universities and colleges, these are government run. So there are rules that if when there is a break for vacation, you will have to come a day prior. Yeah, absolutely, it is harmful. Yes, Nisha. And then you have to go after vacation also, you have to come that day. So when your vacation starts, a day prior to that, and then it's after that. If you do not, then your vacations or leave or salary is deducted. So that's a rule. You can't help it there. So yeah, policy is dictating everything. So that is bureaucracy. Yes. Yeah, Prasad, these people don't like to, if you miss hierarchy or if you go skip level, they won't like it. And then democratic. Democracy means you are people's person. You appreciate your followers giving input. You're very appreciative of that. You will offer genuine guidance to people. Why Nelson Mandela? And guys, you can give anybody's example also. That is not a problem. Why Nelson Mandela here? Because he is the first. He fought against apartheid. He was anti-apartheid. So apartheid is the discrimination which is done on the basis of your skin color, racial discrimination. He fought for that. For that, he went jail, and that's the reason he was the first democratically elected president, black president of South Africa. That's a democratic style of leadership. You're a people's person. Care about individuals. Okay. Would you like to see? And in case if you want to read more about this thing, yes, Pranchu. If you want to study more about leadership and this movie, I would suggest Invictus. It's a beautiful movie. There's Morgan Freeman is there and Matt Damon is there. It's a movie about rugby. Yeah. So I would want to show you a clipping from that movie. Um, Wait. I don't remember actually. Maybe Invictus is a movie. So probably later on, I can't remember the name of the video. You can watch a clipping from Invictus. Maybe later on towards the end, try to find and search. Okay, Invictus is the name of the movie. Yes, that's your democratic style. Then there's charismatic. Charismatic style of leadership means You can create, you have got some charisma, some aura around. When people listen to it, they are spellbound. You're that kind of magnificent. You want to listen to more and more to you. These people have that kind of, the stardom kind of quality. When people have that charismatic, you have a vision and you can really motivate people. You can really motivate your followers. Yeah, absolutely, Kunal. Yes, Barack Obama, not just yes, Bharani, Dr. APJ, Barack Obama, even his wife, Michelle Obama, you hear, they're very authentic. When they speak, people are spellbound. They just want to hear, listen to them. Even if you're strangers there, it will create, they will make them like a community. That's how they bond with their audience. So that's your charismatic style of leadership, situational style of leadership. So there's no, generally, you'll see most of the time people may follow the situational style of leadership where you don't have a one perfect way of leading people. As per the needs and situation, you have a kind of contingent approach. That yes, I'll analyze this, and then based on this, I will be acting this way. Now, why George Bush's example? So when 9/11 happened, okay, George Bush was not that kind of individual who would actually believe in war. But when 9/11 happened, when there was this attack in Twin Towers, that time they had launched a war against terrorism on Afghanistan in 2002. And I think if you remember, after 19 years, they came back, the soldiers and all. Yeah, remember, guys? Afghanistan, mein, and then only that's the reason now they have Taliban. Yeah, yeah, exactly. All these are contingency. Yes, situational, absolutely. Then comes your transaction. It's a very give and take kind of relationship in transaction style of leadership. Okay, you do good, you will be given rewards and recognition. If you don't do, then there would be reprimands and punishment. Why do we put Indra Nooyi's example here? Indra Nooyi says that you give people what they want and then they'll move mountains. It's a give and take relationship. Indra Nooyi, she had been in various roles in PepsiCo. So she's an ex-CEO of PepsiCo, right? So she had earlier had various roles. So when she was the contender for the CEO position, that time one more individual was also there who was contending for the same position. But of course, we know that Indra Nooyi was the one who was selected. But Nooyi flew down to her contender, asked him to join her as her right man or right hand, and then she nearly boosted his package or his CTC to match hers because she knew the kind of PepsiCo which she wanted to create wouldn't have been possible without this guy. So that's Forbes had called it team of rivals. That's what is your transactional approach. When you know that if you want to go there, if you want to get it, you want to these people support. And that's how can she get by? Making sure that his compensation is not less than hers or equally matching hers. That's a transaction style of leadership. Now I'm going to show you a very important video. Not show, I'm going to share the link where 5 C's of leadership. Indra Nooyi's very famous 5 C's of leadership. And as leaders, very important for all of you. Watch this video, let me know, and then we'll continue further. Very good. That's your transactional style of leadership. Okay. Let's going to next is transformational style of leadership. These kind of leaders, they totally change an individual, totally transform an individual. Now, let me tell you a story about it. So Gandhi, so there was this child who used to have a lot of sweet stuff, and his mother was very much worried about him. And the child was an ardent follower of Gandhiji. So his mother thought, okay, I'm going to go to Gandhiji and ask for his help. So she takes her son to Gandhiji and then tells him that Bapu, my son has a lot of sugary stuff, a lot of sweet stuff, which isn't good. So if you tell him, I'm pretty sure that he's going to follow it. So to listen to this, Gandhiji says that, okay, can you do one thing? Can you come after 15 days? So lady says, sure, I will. And after 15 days, then she comes back and then she says, Bapu, do you remember, I had come and I wanted all this thing. So she said, of course I do. Please bring your child. And when she brings, then Gandhiji says that, you know what, child, you shouldn't have sweet stuff. It isn't good for health. You should control. Listening to this, the lady really gets furious. She's like, you know what, you could have told me this 15 days back, and for this, you asked me to come back again. To listening to what Gandhiji said, 15 days before, I myself was having a lot of sweet stuff. So when I wasn't doing that, how could I have told the little child? So that's what, guys, practice what we preach. These are transformational leaders. They totally transform you, totally change. Have you heard about the story of Angulimal? This was a fable and all old story, about a dacoit who used to cut people's finger and wear it as a garland. Then, yeah, Anish, then he meets, I think, Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha was the one whom he meets, and then he totally transforms him, totally changes him. That's your transformational leadership, right? When you change any individual, pura, not on the superficial level, overall. Yeah, yes, George, somewhere there only, sixth standard Hindi, yeah, maybe. And then laissez-faire leadership. It means literally no leadership present. That means no intervention. You're free to do. George, nobody's hovering around you. You are the owner of the organization. That's what Warren Buffett believes in. That you let people how they want to do. And then if they are left alone, you're given responsibilities. And along with responsibilities, you are empowered to take decision. That means along with responsibilities, you are giving decision making authority. That's laissez-faire leadership. Okay, you don't intervene much, so people bring out the best in themselves. He's a CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He really believes that if any individual is working in one of his sister concern or holdings, they would be acting as the owner of that, because he says that when you let people be the owner, they're never going to mess with the money. They should feel like it's our own money. As we don't dirty our house, huh? Likewise, we'll never mess with our own money. So that's what is a laissez-faire leadership. Now, okay, I know lots of videos have happened in today's class, but what I'll do, I'll finish this portion and then have I showed you this video of Nitin Nohria, leadership's video. Nitin Nohria, the ex-dean of Harvard Business School, he had made this video on leadership. नहीं दिखाया? ठीक है. So, do you want to see it now or once I complete this portion of power? Bad examples? Yes, Bharani. If you talk about bad examples, you're this guy, Kingfisher. Kingfisher's guy, that's a bad example. When you talk about Hitler, that's a bad example. Napoleon, that's a bad example. King Jong, bad example, absolutely bad example. That's not what leadership is. These are autocratic, tight-fisted. It's not the way to lead the troops. Demotivating people is not the way to do it. Yeah, Bharati. Though people may call them Trump, yes, 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 Aditi, Trump. Why not? Yeah, he would have. See, everybody would have their supporters. People would support him. Crisis of that. Yeah, the Yes Bank crisis. That's a bad example of leadership. You guys, who was the guy of Yes Bank? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting it. Do you know that Yes Bank was the most preferred campus interviewer? Do you know that? It was most famous in all the B schools. Rana Kapoor. Are you aware? most preferred, they would get day zero along with consultancies. Generally, see what happens in B schools and all, you start having, oh God. हाँ भरनी, so I think हमारे लिए practical example हो गया. अच्छा उसमें भी था. So what happens? So in MBAs, in all these good premier BE schools, there would be campus interviews. So they would have a campus drive. So first day, which they call it as day zero, generally all these consultancies like McKinsey, your Price, PwC, and your, what do you say, Grant Thornton, all these kind of consultants come. From day one onwards, you start having FMCGs and banks and all. So Yes Bank was preferred very much in all, amongst all the premier schools. They used to hire from there. In fact, once they were inducting their, I think, yeah, once they were inducting their employees, they had something called as Yes Premium League, where they made people learn the experiential learning. So yeah. So now let us talk about power. So Bharti, are we good there? All these people, the examples of what not. Nirav Modi, how not to be a leader. Power, when you can influence people, that's your power. But it may be in a coercive. Generally, we see in organization power used in negative connotation, because people, when they want to sabotage others, when they just want to think about their own goals, they want to influence the decision making for their own benefit, then of course it is negative. When we talk about power, when one individual is able to influence others, that means the individual has the ability to influence others is more powerful. But one thing which I really like about power is that it's dynamic. Do we agree? If it is today with you, tomorrow it's going to be with somebody else. It's very, very dynamic. That's your power. Okay. Now we are going to talk about your sources, different sources of power. So there are 5 sources of power: reward power, coercive power, legitimate power, expert power, referent power. We have not touched this. Have we touched this? No, na. In the session 1, because session 1 में overall view दे रखा है. Very good. Thank you, Bharani. नहीं, ठीक है. Reward power is that when you can influence people's behavior by giving them rewarding them, praising them. हाँ, Niket, are we aware of Shabji Bhai Dholakia? He's a diamond merchant of Surat, and whenever his employees do good during Diwali and all, he would be gifting them. Types of power, yeah, sources of power. Haan, Nisha, these are the same types of power, and these are the source from where you get the power. So you get from giving people rewards, giving them cars. He gives them car or money or flats. So that from there he is powerful, right? Because of his rewards. So from where is, so this kind of power is reward power. When you are rewarding people and you're getting power from that, people acknowledge you because they know, yes, you want to be a part of Shabji's company because yeah, he rewards people well. There's positive reinforcement there. That is your reward power. Trust me, when George is saying that, it really made me a little energetic. It's become, I think there was a time when Google Pay me, you will get some 5-10 bucks and all. I think from past 200 transactions, I'm getting the same thing. Yeah, Bharati, you have applied? Where you located, like where you are based out of? Chennai. Okay, interesting. Coercive power. So we were talking about this power. This is when you run the show by iron fist. That's coercive power. You want everything what you say has to be regarded as absolute law, and that's what Hitler did. If you do not follow what he will say, he will act like an alpha male. Okay, everything what he said or says has to be regarded as an absolute thing. Otherwise, you aren't going to stay there for long. That's the coercive, the forceful power, right? Death sentence and all. What happens in North Korea if you don't go by what Kim Jong says? You are put into detention camps. People are always underfed. Why they people are having flies and crickets and everything? They are not getting nourishment. Their entire food is dependent. Yeah, superior, absolutely. 3 generation punishment. It's not that if I have committed mistakes, so only I will get. The entire family, the extended family, and that also you wouldn't understand what happens to them. They almost survive in boiled cabbage or kimchi and with little rice. And that also if they are lucky enough to get it. So yeah, so that is coercive power because you are just uplifting yourself. You don't care about others here. That's a forceful, fistful power. Coercive, forcing people. Legitimate power. Legitimate power means it comes with your authority. When, actually, tell me something. Have you been naughty kids during your school days? Lighted firecrackers? Nisha? No. Firecrackers, school pay? George? Bharani? Every, did you get caught? Uh, little bit, Supriyo? Were you caught anytime? No? Smart child. Huh? Any one of you were caught? If you were caught, George, you were always caught. Huh? Firecrackers. And what happened? The punishment which you get from your teacher or your principal, that was legitimate. Okay? Because that individual was holding that position. Now, when your HR head transfers individual or your functional head transfers one person from one place to another, he has that. He has that power. That is a legitimate power which comes from your hierarchical position. Yeah, George? Looks like George was a very naughty child. Huh? So Ajit Mohan is the head of Facebook India. He can exercise some power within his capacity. Right now, Ajit Mohan leaves or gets transferred to some other get transfers to some other division, or maybe he leaves Facebook. Do you think he still can exercise power over Facebook's employees? Tell me, say Pranshu becomes the new Facebook head. Nikhil? Then those powers are transferred to Pranshu. Yeah, that's your legitimate power because it comes, yes, touch wood, very good. It comes with your position, your formal authority. That's your legitimate power. As it's not dependent on your personality, on you, but it is dependent on the position which you're holding. Okay? Now, going to next is your expert power. Expert power means with that expertise, when you get that power, okay? Because you know that, for example, in this entire classes, when you talk about these online classes, the entire dependency is on the IT department. And if I don't know something, if I ask that why was this happening, this glitch again and again, and if I'm not aware of software or anything about it, whatever the IT guys tells me, okay, the engineer tells me, I'll have to go by his word because he has an expert power. Now, why Sundar Pichai, starting from down, has reached to the helm of Google, has become the CEO of Google because of his expertise, his expert power. When they wanted to launch, right? I think I did I tell you when they wanted to build the browser. That time the CEO was Eric Smith, the then CEO. He opposed it. Yes, they went ahead with the launch, and you can say that Chrome has been a huge success with a reported worldwide market share of 45%. That's what people believe. Why Larry Page and Sergey Brin believed in him? Because they knew that he has expertise. They went by his word. Yeah? Yeah, Debashish, you want to say something? Debashish? George, you want to say something? Or Debashish? Raise hand. Have you raised hand to have a discussion? Do you want to say something? Tell me, Debashish, George, anything you want to say? Anything? Yes? No? Raise hands, I have a thought. Okay, no problem then. Okay? And okay, now going after expert power, let's go to the next one, which is about referent power. This is like, these people may not even, this is about your personality. Okay, about you. It's not about the position. So here, these kind of people, they're considered role models. They are charismatic, like leaders when we talk about. They are considered to be role models. Now, for example, why Oprah? She doesn't hold any public office, but people still look up to her. Talking about this thing, people having referent power in India is a lot about your movie stars. your cricket stars. So why Gujarat tourism would want Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to campaign for them? People, they look up to him. They say, "Oh, if he's saying about Gujarat, Gujarat is going to be beautiful." Why Cadbury's, when they found worms in their chocolate, they asked for Mr. Amitabh Bachchan? Why Cadbury's did that? Because yes, people believe to them, believe on what they say. And also, why Shah Rukh Khan is there campaigning for polio? People look up to them, right? These are the people who have referent power. Now, if you come to Juhu Sunday go before COVID, 4 o'clock, Juhu would be all blocked. Going from this place to my home would be difficult if I go via Juhu. Because yeah, people are there. Yes, Supreme because they have that stardom kind of thing, right? Referent power where people have that stardom where people will look up to them. When these people say something, we believe. Do you think our politicians have referent power? Influencing, yes, Pranchu, the influencer marketing works on referent power. Very good. Do you think our politicians, when they say, and if you are well educated, know enough, they will hold no referent power. Yeah, some of them, they may be. Yeah, absolutely. And then, yeah, that's it. But then before that, I would want to show you one video. It's a beautiful video. So whatever you guys are doing, please keep it aside. Next 6 minutes or 7 minutes, watch this video, which is made by Nitin Nohria, the Dean of Harvard. Okay, Business School. He's made this beautiful video. I'm going to send it to you. Button the link. Yeah, watch the video and please come back. So everyone is done watching the video. I told you it's a beautiful video, and that's the reason I was telling you guys that whatever you are doing, keep it aside. Because as a leader, it's important for us to understand the leadership can arise from anywhere. The most important aspect for us is to be like sponge and absorb everything which comes around us, not having a closed-minded approach. Yeah. So guys, anything else? Yeah, do you have any questions? What happened? Questions? Not yet. How to advise subordinate without sounding patronizing. So Shukriya, see every time, as I said, and we'll keep on saying again, communication is the key. First of all, get to know the individual better. ठीक है? Until unless Supriya, you aren't aware of your subordinates, how they feel, what are from where they come. Okay, so to understand, assess their personality, make that bond, make that rapport. Once that rapport and bond is created, then you can tell them. And whatever you're telling Supriya, it has to be worded positively. Okay, whatever feedback you want to give. So again, I will say I prefer having a sandwich method. You know, whatever you want to say, start with something positive about that individual. Okay, start with that. It's like a bun, the positive one. Then you put the patty, which is your whatever feedback, whatever the area of improvement. Let's call it as area of improvement. You have to tell them, but they have to be worded positively. Don't use you're bad at this. Yes, you can do better in this one or whatever. Use positive words and then again wrap it up with something good about that. And that's what you have to give feedback. You will never sound patronizing if you are like that. Huh, Supriyo? Do we understand that? Words are very important. The way you use them, the tone is very important. Yeah, great. Anything else? High buffers opportunity. How next steps? Yeah. Okay, Bolo George, servant style of leadership. You will see servant of style of leadership being followed by your Mother Teresa. She is for them. So in servant style of leadership, your employees or your followers are the ones who are very important. So community building is very important for servant style of leadership. You want to build that community. You are dedicated to your employees. You can say that yes. What Agya? Yeah. So you get it, George? Here you are yourself serving to the people in a sense that for you serving the community, uplifting the community, having a sense of community building is the most important style in servant style of leadership. Mother Teresa is a perfect example of servant style of leadership. Taking care of your employees. If you are such individual where your employees aspects are important, taking care of them is important. Everything. George, as per the scenario, you can add. No marks would be deducted. Don't worry, you can add. Of course, you can add. Santosh, how to deal with a subordinate who feels he is superior or knows more than a manager? Oh, I think it's everywhere like that. See, if you feel like that, critical incidents maintained where what he said didn't turn out to be right. So in a very again, rather than yeah, it's okay also, right? Rather than coming across as negative, you'd see, okay, you know what, you've done this, but when you said this thing, these kind of failures will happen. So everywhere, what is most important, Santosh, is have your data and fact ready. If that individual is trying to come across as smarty pants, which we say every time, yes, it's important to give input. And then you have to kind of document or put incidences and bring out those critical instances where he could have done better, but he did not. Yeah, every time do that. Okay, or maybe subtly you say, oh, of course, why do you think so? Right? If the input is positive, always you take in positive stride. But if it is not, if it is always something to add to it, always trying to act smart, it's not going to go for a long run. But the situational leadership, it might. So when you talk about negative, yeah, it might be see some, but with Dharmi, most of the time we all have to be little go for the situational style of leadership. Like, let me give you an example. For example, you might be a people's person. Okay, every time for you, employees are important, their concern is important, their well-being is important. You try to give them a good work-life balance also. But if people start taking advantage of you, Bharni, plus if there's a contingent situation where the task has to be completed and then you have to be taskmaster, then you can't be a relationship oriented individual, right, Bharni? So most of the time you have to act in a way. But yes, again, having said that, it's a personal choice of people taking it for their own benefit, for sabotaging, just changing their style. Yes, because then when you are being tentative, people will also think that you are tentative. But mostly you will see everywhere a little bit of hint of situational style would be there. Yeah, even with you. The people sacrifice for greater goods is inspiring, motivates others in team, followers look up to them, is situational or charismatic or transformational. Inspiring, motivates. See, so when you say, Kajal, when you're going to it, you have to find the other things also. Transformational, may you have to find what are the elements which are discussed in your async mode. Yeah, go by the async. When the questions are asked from async, you will have to see. Huh? There are what are the parameters which make you a transformational leaders? You have to see these things. If you like, if you go by the way, yes, these can be your, you know, it is definitely not situational style of leadership, but yes, you can sometimes say that these people can be charismatic, but yes, transformational ke jitne bhi parameters hai, they fit into this. And from the IA 4 and 5, so Nisha, transformational is a completely transform you into this. In charismatic, you are not transforming your followers. You are making them spellbound. You are just, you have that charisma where people would love to listen to you. You might also get motivated. Okay, they will create where, as I said, there might be strangers sitting, but the way they create the aura around you are just swayed away by that. You just focused on that. In transformational, you're working with your followers to change them entirely, change their mindset. Anguli Mal and the story which I was telling about Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, see, if charisma only Nisha is in superficial level, absolutely, it may also happen. Yeah. So, Bharini, if it allows, you can write. 300 is what is expected. If you want to write more, it's perfectly fine. Shivanti. Okay? Yeah. Shivanti, you want me to give a voice write to the, yeah, sure. I've given you voice right, Shimanti.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask this was, I'm sorry, this is not pertaining to this subject. This was
No problem. Yes, you wanted to have a platform to raise your
Python class, Python topic, which was discussed earlier. So we had been told by the professor that we will have a, demo questions on TE. So I just wanted to, understand when are they sharing or will they intimate us? How is it? So just I wanted to understand, from the upgrade representative here.
Yeah, Shashank, you there? I know somebody else is logged in from Shashank's ID. I forgot his name. Are you there? I don't know whether they must have thought that I'm going to end the session. Shashank from Upgrad, are you there?
Yeah, Pooja ma'am.
Yeah, please. Shimanti has a question. Please look into that.
Ma'am, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, you were saying something.
Yeah, Shimanti is here. She is one of our learners. She has a query. Shimanti, please unmute
Hi,
your.
actually, this is not pertaining to this subject. So this was on the Python topic that we discussed, and we were told by the Professor Vedehi, that we will have, a TE model questions discussed before the final TE. So I just wanted to understand, when will it will be informed? It is there, not there. How is it? Because for me, it is very important because I am not a coding person. So for me, I wanted to have an understanding on those questions.
Okay, but the thing is that I am not the right person to answer this your
No
question.
problem. You can communicate and let us know. Maybe
Yeah, like
in
the
Telegram chat.
concerned person definitely will reach out to you.
Yeah, she said that it will be discussed. So I am sure that it will be a session or something. So just communicate and let us know.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Professor Basu.
No problem. So yeah, so we are not going to have any assignment in this behavioral sciences. It is just your IAs. 5 IAs would be there and 1 term and examination. Okay. So yeah, everyone, we'll call it a day. We'll meet on next Friday. Okay. Next week. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for being a
Thank you,
great.
ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Whatever Sunday is left, have a happy Sunday, all of you. Thank you. It would be like Gohan. It would be like the descriptive question of IA. जैसे IA का descriptive question, the kind you are getting, same way would be your TE. ठीक है? No worry.